ایک ماں ہیں جو اپنے بیٹے کو اپنی زندگی کی مشکلات بتا رہی ہیں اور آخر میں پھر اس کو نصیحت کرتی ہیں کہ کس طرح تم نے بھی میری طرح زندگی گزارنی ہے اور اسٹرگل کرنا ہے. ویل سن آئی ول ٹیل یو. اچھا بیٹا میں تمہیں بتاتی ہوں. لائف فار می اینڈ بی نو کرسٹل اسٹیئر. زندگی میرے لیے شیشی کی سیڑھی، شفاف سیڑھی نہیں رہی ہے. اٹس ہیڈ ٹیکس نیٹ. اس میں بہت سارے کیل تھے. اینڈ سپلنٹرز. اس میں چبھنے والی چیزیں تھیں، نکیلی چیزیں تھیں. یہ زندگی کی مشکلات کی تشبیہات بتا رہی ہیں. یہ میٹافوریکل سٹائل ہے. اینڈ بورڈز ٹورن اپ. اس میں ٹوٹے پھوٹے تختے تھے جو میرے راستے میں مشکلات پیدا کر رہے تھے. اینڈ پلیسز ود نو کارپیٹ آن دا فلور بیئر. اور فلور پر، زمین پر کارپٹ نہیں ہوا کرتا تھا. یہ ننگی قدرتی زمین تھی جس پر چلنا مشکل تھا. بٹ آل دا ٹائم، لیکن پوری زندگی آئی ہیز بین کلائمبنگ آن. میں ہمیشہ چڑھتی رہی ہوں. میں نے اپنا جد و جہد جاری رکھا ہوا ہے. اینڈ ریچنگ لینڈنس. اور میں اپنی منزل مقصود تک پہنچتی رہی ہوں. اینڈ ٹرننگ کارنرز. میری زندگی میں ایسے کارنرز، کونے بھی آئے کہ میں نے اپنا راستہ جو ہے وہ تبدیل بھی کیا. اینڈ سم ٹائمز گوئنگ ان دا ڈارک where there ain't been no light. اور کبھی کبھار تو میں ایسی تاریکی کا میں نے سامنا کیا جہاں کوئی روشنی نہیں تھی، کوئی کسی قسم کی رہنمائی میرے سامنے نہیں تھی. سو بوائے ڈونٹ یو ٹرن بیک. اس لیے بیٹا تم واپس نہیں مڑنا. زندگی کے اس سفر میں پیچھے مت دیکھنا. ڈونٹ یو سٹ ڈاؤن آن دا اسٹیپس. تم یہ جو سیڑھی ہے، اس سیڑھی کے پائدانوں پر، کسی پائدان پر اپنا سفر مت روکنا، اپنا سفر جاری رکھنا. میں اس لیے تمہیں یہ سب کچھ بتا رہی ہوں cause you find this kind of hard. کیونکہ تمہیں تھوڑا مشکل لگے گا یہ سفر، یہ سٹرگل کرنا، یہ جد و جہد کرنا. یہ تمہیں مشکل تو لگے گا، لیکن یہ تم نے کرنا ہے. ڈونٹ یو فال ناؤ. اپنے آپ کو گرنے مت دینا، گرنا نہیں. فور کیونکہ آئی اسٹل گوئنگ ہنی. کیونکہ میرے پیارے بیٹے میں بھی تو ابھی تک اس عمر میں سفر کر رہی ہوں، جد و جہد کر رہی ہوں. آئی اسٹل کلائمبنگ. میں ابھی تک چڑھ رہی ہوں اور میں نے زندگی کا سفر جو ہے مشکلات کے ساتھ میں طے کر رہی ہوں. اینڈ لائف فار می اینڈ بی نو کرسٹل اسٹیئر. اور میرے لیے بھی تو زندگی کوئی شیشے کی شفاف سیڑھی نہیں تھی، بلکہ یہ مشکلات سے پر تھی. میں نے ایکسپلینیشن میں بتایا ہے کہ اس نظم کا جو گرامر ہے وہ الگ ہے. یہ اس لیے الگ ہے کیونکہ یہ کالوں کے اور سیاہ فام لوگوں کی انگلش ہے. اور سیاہ فام لوگوں کو 1960 1970 تک تقریباً وہاں تو ان کو انسانوں کا درجہ نہیں دیا جاتا تھا. امریکہ میں یہ آئسولیشن کی زندگی بسر کرتے تھے. آپ نے نوٹ کیا ہوگا ہر معاشرے میں، ہر ملک میں جہاں لوگوں کو پراپر سکولنگ نہیں ملتی ہے، لوگ ان ایجوکیٹڈ زیادہ تر ہوتے ہیں، تو ان کی بھلے سے ان میں ایجوکیٹڈ لوگ ہوتے ہیں، لیکن ان کی جو بولی ہوتی ہے، ان کا جو لہجہ ہوتا ہے وہ تھوڑا مختلف ہوتا ہے. تو پوئٹ نے چونکہ ایک ماں کو سپیکر بنایا ہوا ہے، اور ماں ایک بلیک ماں ہے، سیاہ فام ماں ہے، تو پوئٹ نے اسی کا جو عام لہجہ ہے وہ یوز کیا ہے، بجائے اس کے کہ نارمل گرامیٹیکل سٹائل اپنائے. چونکہ ڈرامیٹک مونولوگ اسی ماں کی زبانی ہے، تو وہ سپیکر ہے. شی اسپیکنگ in this poem. That's why the writer, the poet has chosen the normal style of blacks that was used in those days. اب میرے خیال میں یہ آپ کی سمجھ میں آ چکا ہوگا، اس لیے اس کے بعد آپ کو اس کا سٹائل عجیب نہیں لگے گا، آپ کو اس کا سٹائل نارمل لگے گا. This is a very beautiful poem, Mother to Son, written by Langston Hughes. His full name was James Mercer Langston Hughes. He was born in Missouri, United States on 1st February 1901 and died in New York on May 22, 1967 at the age of 66. He was a poet, a playwright, a novelist, a columnist. He was black, and those days, blacks were not given citizenship rights in USA. They were spending very hard lives in America. They were facing lots of problems throughout their lives. So, in this poem, he has written about a mother who is telling her son about her struggles, her hardships, her difficulties throughout the life, and how she made her way to achieve success. And at the second phase of the poem, she advises her son not to give up and to continue his struggle in life because she is still struggling. So, in this video, I will read out the poem for you at the first stage. Second stage, I will explain it a little bit, and at the third stage, I will translate it into Urdu. So let's begin in the name of Allah. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me and be no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time I has been a climbing on and reaching endings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back, don't you sit down on the steps, 'cause you find it's kinda hard. Don't you fall now, for I is still going, honey, I is still climbing, and life for me ain't been no crystal stair. In this poem, the poet has used a dramatic monologue and metaphorical style where he has used metaphors and extended metaphors for explaining his ideas. In dramatic monologue, a character speaks to another for a period of time while the other character or characters keeps silence. Thus, the writer explains his ideas. So let's begin. Well, son, I'll tell you, a black mother who has gone through so many difficulties in her life, she tells her son, well, my son, let me tell you something about struggle and hardships of my life. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. You will notice that in this poem the grammar is a little bit different than the one we are using regularly because it's the language of blacks. Blacks had no proper schooling, especially at those times, because they were spending life in isolation and they had their own style. So the poet has used metaphor in this poem. This is a metaphorical style in which the mother compares her life to a stair, and the hidden quality which is common in her life in the stair, there is the difficulties, there is the climbing, there is the struggle of climbing. So she wants to say that my life was very tough and full of difficulties. It was not smooth and easy like a crystal stair. It's had tacks in it. Now she is using extended metaphor that the way she had chosen that was not an easy way, because that was the way of struggle. She had been struggling throughout her life. So in the way, in that stair there were nails from place to place on each interval. There were nails in her way. There were problems and difficulties in her way, and splinters. She says that the way that I was going through had splinters in it. Splinter is a foreign body which penetrates into the body and hurts people. Uh, these are sharp glasses. These might be sharp woods and things like that. These are exactly like nails which hurt people. So this is also an example of the hardships and struggle and the difficulties, trials and tribulations of life. And boards torn up, again extended metaphor. She says that that way contained torn up pieces of wood. There were torn up pieces of wood in my way, like it was full of trials and tribulations. And places with no carpet on the floor, bare. I haven't been traveling through smooth and carpeted floor in my life. The way of my life was full of hurdles and difficulties. It was a natural, bare land. There were no carpets over it. But all the time, but during the whole of my life struggle, I has been a climbing on. I have been climbing on. Despite of these hurdles and difficulties, I have continuously climbing on. And reaching landings, I have been making my way through these hardships of life and reached my destinations with a lot of struggle and achieved my goals. And turning corners, there were so many turning corners in my life, in my way. I had to change my ways and plans during my journey towards my goal. And sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. There were times in my life when I felt myself in a complete darkness because there was no source of guidance and help in front of me. But even then, I continued my struggle. So, boy, don't you turn back. Now, after telling her son, after informing him about the struggle of her life, she is now advising her son to take the same path, choose the same path on which she had been traveling throughout her life. So she's saying, "My son, you should learn from my life. You should never retreat or give up throughout your life, exactly as I did. Don't you sit down on the steps. My son, don't stop your struggle and journey towards success. Keep it up. 'Cause you find it's kinda hard. Why I'm telling you this? Because I know that you will find it a bit hard to continue your struggle in hard circumstances. However, you have to be optimistic. So keep your struggle continued during any type of circumstances. Don't you fall now. So hold on. Don't let yourself fall down. Don't give up. For I is still going, honey. You shouldn't discontinue your struggle exactly like me because I haven't stopped my journey and I am still going on. I is still climbing. Cause I am still climbing. I'm still working hard to achieve my goals in my life. So, in this age, if I am struggling, you should struggle too. And you should go ahead with determination. You should achieve all your goals. You shouldn't stop here. You shouldn't let yourself fall. You should go on continuously. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. My life was very tough and full of difficulties. It was not smooth and easy like a crystal stair.